at 6, a woman is suing the city for hurting her during an arrest.
Our 11 Investigates team uncovered that lawsuit against the city of Toledo for the arrest. It's disturbing video you'll only see on WTOL 11.
The arrest happened in May of last year. The body camera footage from the woman's attorney may be hard to watch. You will not see the woman's arm breaking, but you can hear it.
Investigative reporter Kaylee Marentat has been looking into this exclusive video all day. Kaylee, what do we know about the case so far?
Well, the lawsuit was just served to the city this morning. It states that officers were called to this woman's home in Toledo to check on her. She told them she was okay and to get off her property. The lawsuit states that the officers deemed her uncooperative for her own safety. She also had a warrant for a traffic ticket. That's when police tried to handcuff her, leading to this.
Let go of your phone. You gotta let go right now. I don't want you to drop it. Let go. If you drop it, it'll break. It'll break. Stop it. Stop hurting me. Stop. Just keep eyes on the door. Why are you doing it? Let go. Gloria, cooperate. I am going to cooperate. What? You're going to arrest me in jail because I am? Put your hands behind your back.
Just a second ago, you could see that officer's face, shocked from what had just happened. Since you can't see the break, it's hard to tell what exactly happened, but you can definitely hear it. There's an x-ray on our website, WTOL.com, to show the break right above the woman's elbow. You could see it right there. The lawsuit states that the woman sat in pain for 10 minutes in handcuffs before being taken to the hospital. She's asking for $30 million in damages. We have requested the disciplinary files for the 4 officers named in the lawsuit. There are 5 officers who are not named. We reached out for comment from the police department and were referred to the city's law department. The senior attorney told us they do not comment on pending litigation. Once we get more information on the incident, we'll be sure to update you on air and online. In studio, Kaylee Marentat, WTOL.
Toledo should be proud that it has so many men and women in the Toledo Police Department ready to step up and serve. And their leader going forward will be Chief Michael Trenby. I'd like to introduce him to you now.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. I'm honored to stand before you today, and I am humbled by the trust and confidence that the mayor and his team have placed in me to lead this great department. First and foremost, I want to express my gratitude to the men and women who serve in the department. You are the backbone of this organization. I am committed to working with each and every one of you to make our city a safer place. This was a long and trying process, and I could not have done this without the support of and love of my family and my friends. I thank you for standing by my side through the ups and many downs. But thank you very much. I appreciate it. As your chief, my top priority is to strengthen the trust between the police department and the community we serve. We will work to build a department that is transparent, accountable, and community-focused. We will listen to the concerns of our residents and work to address them in a fair and impartial manner. We will work to ensure that every interaction between our officers and the public is conducted with the utmost professionalism and respect. I also recognize that the men and women of this department face tremendous challenges. We will work to provide you with the training, resources, and most importantly, the support that you need to do your job safely and effectively. Finally, I want to assure the public that we are committed to preventing crime and keeping our streets safe. We work tirelessly to identify and apprehend those who commit crimes in our city, and we will do so in a manner that is consistent with the values of our community. In conclusion, I am excited and humbled by the opportunity to lead the department, and I believe that we will be working together, that we can make a safer and more welcoming place for everyone to live. Thank you very much.
You're in the spotlight.
Thanks. Yes, ma'am.
How do you really feel?
Relieved. This was a a long process, and there was a lot of steps, and you know, they kind of put us through the ringer a little bit, kind of stuff that I've seen for Toledo anyways, how our police chiefs are selected. So I'm happy that we can actually have identified the chief and we can start moving forward, and as a department we can get back to our core mission of trying to reduce crime.
Obviously, you know that crime reduction is a big thing here in the area.
Yeah.
What are you going to do differently than the prior police chief to get that under control or try to stop that violence?
Yeah, so there's basically, for me, I believe in evidence-based practices for policing, and I believe in a lot of using our academics to help us guide our policies and our crime-fighting strategies. So what we've been doing over the last 3 months is reevaluating all of our programs. Our team initiatives have been great programs, so we're going to continue those because those are programs that aren't just about crime fighting. It's about addressing the blight and the other concerns our community has in their neighborhoods with all the cooperation of our sister departments within the city. And that is a very effective tool for making our city a much more livable city. So we'll continue that. I have some plans as far as trying to do more foot patrols in neighborhoods, trying to identify some areas that we can get officers on foot and make sure that we're in there and we stay there and our community knows that we're there to help them and that we will be there even after we arrest the people that are causing the most harm to those neighborhoods. So there's a bunch of different programs that we're going to be releasing, but most importantly, first thing I do, I need to get my leadership team together so we can work as a group and we can start identifying the needs of our department, the organization of our department, and what we need to actually deliver the core service, which is being out there responding to calls for service and reducing crime.
A lot of people are concerned about the youth and guns. Is there a plan to try to figure out how these guns are getting into the hands of these young kids?
Yes, and we do target that. There's a lot of long-term investigations that we do. We don't talk about them publicly because we're trying to get to the source of where the guns are coming from, whether it be a straw purchase or what be it, to get them into our community. Hopefully soon we'll have some news that will help us reduce crime by, you know, taking down some of these organizations.
You don't want to lose it now?
No, ma'am.
Yeah. The mayor had alluded to the fact that this may not be the popular vote for the community. Obviously, it comes with a little bit of controversy. You've been named an Ohio Civil Rights Commission complaint as well as a lawsuit. You acknowledged in your interview that you had made some mistakes. Can you elaborate on that?
Which interview that I made some mistakes, I guess?
During the interview with the city of Toledo, for your interview for this position, you acknowledged broadly that you had made some mistakes.
Well, I think as human beings, we always make mistakes. So I'm not sure which ones you're referring to, or I don't actually remember saying that, but that's regardless. Sure, over the career of 30 years, we always make mistakes. There's always things we learn from, and we try to get better every time. And we always kind of have to reevaluate our actions and make sure that we don't repeat them.
What will you do differently with diversity within the police department?
Yeah. So one of the things I've done as the interim is I've promoted Captain Mike Smith. He's going to be my diversity officer. So he's going to help me groom, train, and create paths for leadership positions and job assignments for not only our minorities, but for everybody in our department that wants to move forward and wants to eventually maybe become the chief of police.
Do you have a comment on the Ohio Civil Rights Commission complaint and the lawsuit at all?
I cannot comment on either of those because they're both active at this point.
How's your family feel about you taking this position?
Excited and a little bit of trepidation, I think.
So you had mentioned in one interview that you wanted this position long-term, and as interim chief, obviously you don't want to try to look long-term because you don't know if you get the job or not. Yeah. But now you have the job. What are some long-term priorities of yours? So
long-term priorities is making sure that we right-size our units in our department. Unfortunately, as everybody knows, we're constantly trying to hire. We're trying to get more people in. So long-term, I've started doing a dedicated recruiting team that are doing new and exciting things. So try to get more people in. But we also need to, in the interim, look at our department and make sure we're deploying our personnel the way it needs to be done. So that's something that myself and our management team, our leadership team, will get together with, and we'll start looking at every area and reevaluating what's working, what's not working, where we can get people back out in the streets so they're out there to help our citizens.
So you're talking about community police relations and trying to strengthen that. Why is this something you guys have kind of labeled as a priority, and what's that going to look like?
So obviously for us, every interaction between a police officer and a resident of our community is an opportunity for us to strengthen those relationships. And that's something that we are going to prioritize with our officers, making sure they're getting out of the cars, making sure they're walking, they're riding, they're in the neighborhoods talking to people. It's good for our officers too, because I 100% believe that 95 or 99% of our community supports our officers, and that's hard for our officers to comprehend sometimes, but by getting out there and talking and interacting, that will actually help them with their own mental health and esteem and willingness to be out there and help our community.
There have been comments, I know the mayor's made comments, that there are about 100 people approximately who cause or are to blame or could be for a lot of this violence in the city. So how are you planning to address that, and why is that the case? Why can't they be stopped, I guess?
Well, so how I plan on addressing that is it's probably been 10 years ago now, we were a part of a smart policing initiative, which we were studied, and one of our initiatives to identify and basically target prolific offenders. And it was deemed by all the research to be an effective program. Unfortunately, with manpower issues and things that have happened over the time, that program's had to go away. So that's one of the things I plan on bringing back and trying to reinstitute that to try to help identify those. We do know who those offenders are through our CJIC officers, our gang officers. It's a matter of being able to put together that investigation and being able to have enough information and evidence to actually convict them in the court of law. That takes the long part. That's a hard part for us. So making sure that we do that is a priority, to try to identify those people and actually, try to remove them from the community. Because the fact of the matter is, not everybody needs to go to jail, but some people need to stop harming our community. And if that means that we have to remove them temporarily from society, then that's the avenue that we will take.
What's the name of that program that you're talking about that went away that you're going to bring back? What's the name of the event?
At the time, it was called our Special Intelligence Group, SIG.
I want to talk more about that State of the City address, because the mayor had mentioned Cities United, that group to kind of facilitate Toledo's ecosystem. So what do you think that's going to look like with TPD, and how are you guys going to work together to address this issue?
Yeah, so I'm open to working with anybody that's willing to help us, solve the problem. One of the things that we see across our city is we kind of have a fragmented community approach. A lot of our former block watches, a lot of our neighborhood groups, they all kind of work in silos. And if we're able to use Cities United to bring them together and everybody has a seat at the table, and then we can come up with a cohesive plan to address gun violence and our youth, then I'm 100% for it.
Chief, I know you talked a lot about your long-term goals for the city and the department. Is there any sort of timeline as to when you hope that some people can start to see some of those changes on the ground? So
I would argue that we're already starting to see some changes. Every community meeting I go to, I get feedback of saying how much more they're seeing the officers in the street. And that's a little thing. That's me showing up at roll calls and talking to our officers and explaining to them, hey, we support you. Your community supports you. We need you out there doing your job. It's time to get back out there and do the work. So even little things like that have already started. But I would say, it's going to take a little bit of time to put my leadership team together, and then it's going to take some time to reorganize. But we're not stopping even during that process. So we're continuing to be out there. The team's initiatives, we do our stop initiatives. There's all kinds of initiatives that are going on daily that no one knows about. We have our Crime Friday meetings, and we're sharing intelligence, and we're identifying areas in the city based on the data that we might see violence, and then we're doing little operations inside those areas. So this is not something that just stops and 3 months from now we're going to get together and go, okay, we're ready to go back out on the street. No, we're going to be out there every day taking calls for service and being there and responding when someone picks up that phone and calls 911.
How many sworn officers are there?
We're down to about 616.
And then you're obviously interim chief now. When are you officially permanent, like at the end of the day, tomorrow, or right now? Or?
That might be a mirror question.
If he had the word interim on his lapel, I would rip it off
Okay.
right now. Our system is such that, you know, all of our directors have the opportunity to be confirmed by City Council. It is often the case, however, that there's a great gap in the time someone is named a director, or in this case a chief, and the time City Council confirms them. I do suspect that City Council will confirm Chief Trenley, but we'll probably do it when we have 5 or 6 others to send over. So we don't send everyone to council at a time, but we'll probably to the point where we have hopefully a finance director and some other changes personnel changes that we're making. We'll send a batch over to City Council, and I've talked to members of City Council. There's no question that they would confirm Chief Trenley. In my judgment, he is considered right now, as of this moment, the permanent chief of the department. For those interested in sort of the ceremony, the pomp and circumstance, I know that his official swearing-in ceremony, I don't know if there's a date for it quite yet, but it's going to be not next week, the week after. So there will be an event down in council chambers that week of, the week after Easter, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, whatever that timeline is, where his family will join him, he'll be sworn in, and so that sort of, if you're interested in the ceremony, that's when that will happen. But the interim tag has been removed, and he is the permanent chief. And again, I said at the outset, it's the phrase that keeps coming back to me in my heart as I thought about it. On January 9th, he became the interim chief simply because he was next in line. I'm naming him the permanent chief today because I believe he's earned it. And I know comparisons are often sloppy, and I must hesitate to do this because I know Chief Diggs recently passed away. But as I went through this process, I was reminded of Chief Derek Diggs with much of what I heard from Chief Trenley. Those of us who remember Derek Diggs and his time as chief, there was such a commitment to data. There was such a commitment to information. He actually may have pioneered that within the department. And so Chief Trenley's role in implementing intelligence-led policing, frankly designing, and I don't know if he'll take credit for it, but I consider him the person who designed our real-time crime center. In my mind, there were comparisons to Derek Diggs from a data standpoint. And like I also mentioned at the outside, one of the things Chief Trenley and I have in common is I think we're both numbers folks. So I don't know if that answered your question or not, but that's how I answered it. Anything else as a large group, or should we do one-on-ones?
What's your relationship been like with Chief Trenley so far?
It's been positive. It has been positive. It's been professional. He has hit the ground running and done everything that a chief of police, in my judgment, should do. He's communicated excellently with me and my team. I have heard kudos from members of City Council. I saw George Saranto here earlier. I don't know if he's still here. Good. Councilman Saranto would vouch, but I heard it from the members of council I called this morning. You have done an excellent job communicating with members of City Council. It's been a strong relationship. I will say this: when this process began, it was not a sure thing that Michael Trenley would be named the permanent chief. Now, I don't know if I there was a ranking in my head ever, but it was not a sure thing, for sure. But over time, through his performance, his commitment, his professionalism, his steadiness, his continuity, he just has impressed me as the steady, consistent force the department needs. So I don't know if I would say he grew on me. That might be sort of an awkward way of saying it, but he had to earn this, and I mean that sincerely. And he did, in my judgment, he did. Look, Alexis, her questions are on point. There are a lot of different opinions in this city about a lot of things, including this decision. There is no decision I have made, again, that I have anguished over more, that I have wrestled with longer, where I have sought more input or received more unsolicited input than this. And the opinions are were all over the place. It would have been helpful if there was 100% unanimous consensus on the path forward, but there wasn't. I'll go back to what I said earlier. I don't know if this will be a popular decision. I don't care that much whether it's popular. I think it's the right decision. And I know that Toledoans will rally behind their chief of police. Toledoans rally around each other. We always do. And so whatever, I don't know, hard feelings may exist, or, you know, disappointment that some camps may have, or some organizations or pastors or civic groups or whatever it is, whatever disappointment, I think it's over now. We're coming together as a city, coming together as a department. We're ready to move forward. And if I know anything about Toledo and Toledoans, they will rally behind their chief. They'll rally behind their department. And I know they will give him a chance. They will give him a chance to succeed. And if Toledoans give him the chance that I'm giving him, I know they'll be impressed with his character and his leadership abilities. Okay, we can do some one-on-ones. And thank you. Thank you again, everyone, for being here.